All right, everyone. So welcome back to another Go commentary. I'm your host, IndieSN, and I have a special match for you today. This is a match I actually requested from my sensei, my mentor, Daniel ML01, who is the amazing person who is teaching me his ways in the game of Go. And I honestly can tell you that, playing Go now has been even more fun, more stressful, but a lot more fun, as I know I have a blueprint to work off of, and that's the key to a lot of. I think if you're trying to start anything, you got to have a blueprint. You got to have someone that you can, just copy off of and really understand their logic behind certain moves and all of that. And so if you're a brand new player like myself, who I am a double digits queue, I have actually ranked up to a 13 queue not too while ago, and I'm only able to get around 3 to 5 games a weekend, hence why it's still a very slow process for me. But just having Daniel just kind of really piece through like my understanding and really tell me, hey, you might want to think about it this way, has really been such a drastic help in my games. I do play offline a lot against AI, and I can honestly tell you, I go max, I go crazy on the AI. So it's like Dawn level AI against me, double digit Q. And I can tell you that my groups are living a lot more. I actually shared that with Daniel a couple days ago, and he pretty much said the same thing. He's like, yeah, that tells me that your groups are surviving a lot better previously than when you first started. So when I first started, I would lose to an AI for 200 points. Now it's roughly around 50 or 60 points. So I am improving quite a bit against a 2 Dawn level AI. And so we're just gonna get into it because this is Daniel's game that I requested, and this is an exciting match because Daniel not only plays on OGS Fox, but he also plays on PandaNet. And just a little backstory behind this specific account that Daniel has. He decided to start a brand new account from just a brand new account, no ranking, and see how far he can rank up. And I don't know what the time frame was for that specific account, if there was a time frame. Whoa, that's an interesting move. Okay, we're gonna get to talk about that. But he pretty much just ranked up on PandaNet to a 2Q ranking just a couple days ago, and so I'm super excited to cast this. But hold the phone, we're gonna go straight into the cast right here, because right now Daniel playing the white stones, and this is a very even match because Midi, which is also a 3Q player, is playing the black stones, but Daniel playing the white stones right here opted to go for a 3-3 opening with an invasion or approach to Midi's 3-4 opening as well, both 3-4 openings. And so what we see right here is Midi was trying to be somewhat extended. They really did go for a very far extension away from the safety of their home, their starting position. So this is a huge extension, and Daniel is like, what, if you're gonna extend all the way over here, I'm gonna reduce your territory. I'm just gonna approach you from the side. I'm gonna encamp you right there, and we're gonna start having a nice invasion points right here. And what you can see is that Daniel is going for a knight's move away from this 3-4 opening position. So you can see Midi is trying to do a pincer-like move over here. There we go. It's trying to do a pincer-like move right here, trying to block Daniel from extending more. But Daniel knows, he has experience. I mean, this is his 1,000th game, 2,000th game. He has a lot of experience. Both of these players have so much experience. And so Daniel knows that Midi knows that Daniel knows that this is a common standard Joseki variation. And it's pretty much a trading of influence versus territory. So Daniel's like, what? Go ahead, take it. I'm going to extend my area right here, and I'm going to take more influence in the potential of the center region over here. So what we could see is Midi is doing a fairly good job defending. He's connecting his stones. He's not leaving any cutting positions open. Daniel is trying to stay one step ahead because there is a central stone right here that is going to block Daniel off. So Daniel needs to extend these stones about four-ish spaces just to have enough wiggle room to really escape when needed. Yes, you have the 2 stones right here, but you also have this stone right here playing a huge huge role in terms of cutting positions, or in terms of cutting off the group from this stone right here. But Daniel does have a 5 stone wall right here, so he's going to extend about 4 or 5 spaces away, trying to build a base and try to go for a surround. At this moment, these 2 stones are now incredibly weak because now they're being surrounded on both sides. And so that's the key that Daniel's been trying to grill into me, is that this is a surrounding game, not an attacking game. Yes, there's time for attacks, but you got to think about the big picture. So let's take a step back, see where your opponents are, see how you can maximize on the weaknesses of your opponent's stone, and really punish them, so to speak, so that their stones, because if they're extending so far out, try to punish them and really go in for the complete surround. And so right now Daniel is trying to build that, but Midi knows that the surround is happening and that these 4 stones are incredibly weak. They're highly disconnected from these 2 groups right here, due to Daniel's big wall line right here. And Midi doesn't want Daniel to encroach into here, but I think the move that Daniel is trying to do is trying to maybe take a step back away and start surrounding. And exactly, he does that. That move was a brilliant move, because if Midi did not respond to that, then Daniel can easily just turn in and cut off the rest of the potential that Midi has right here on this bottom chain right here. But now that Midi responded to that, now Daniel's gonna be like, if you're gonna try to take those 8 points, I'm gonna try to take these 10 points right here, because every stone that is placed, when you capture it, you gain 2 points, 1 for the stone and 1 for the territory, unless somehow the territory gets filled up. But right now, so Daniel has to be careful, because there is a chance that that these stones right here are going to try to escape. And so Daniel is going to have to start extending. Most likely the stone's going to be right here, or not. No. So the extension is first and then the turn. I think that's what's going to happen. So Daniel's probably going to extend one more time up here just to save his stone, exactly, and connect it with the rest of this group. And so these 5 stones, they're pretty much kaput at this point, unless Midi is able to find a way to surround the remaining 3 liberties of this 2 stone process right here. And so, oh my gosh, this surrounding game, and Daniel's like, you know what, you're gonna build a wall. Every time you attach to me, I will get stronger, because the attaching game is about strengthening both sides. And so what influence do you want? Yeah, you can have this influence right here. I'm going to take this influence right here. But because these guys are so separate, as you start extending over here, I can just place a stone here to cut you off. And so there's a lot more weaknesses for Midi to extend this way than there is for Daniel to extend that way. Daniel has a lot of reinforcement stones right here. What Midi is trying to do is now Midi is trying to surround Daniel right here. And so Daniel has to find a way to start defending his stones right here, because right now he doesn't have a base. He doesn't have an I shape. There is no I shape. Yes, he could build one right here, right? So this could be a potential I shape right here, but where would the second one be? And so Daniel is going to try to do everything he can to try to build a circle in big enough so that if Midi does come in, he has room to start building shape. And this is what you hear all the time as I'm watching commentaries, as I'm watching streams, not really commentators but streams, just ghost streams. A lot of the times the players on Twitch will be like, well, I gotta start making shape, or I gotta start making start surrounding, etc. And so this is something that I'm really picking up with the advanced level players, and this is something that Daniel's constantly hounding at me at, especially in my double-digit games right here. And so that's it. That's what we're seeing. And what we're seeing right now is Midi connecting his groups of stones right here with this play on this single line right here. It's going to be very hard for Daniel to come in. Daniel, in order to come in, is going to need to do a peeping move right here. And Daniel is fully surrounding this territory right here, and now is forcing Midi to play at the T13 position. If Midi doesn't play at the T13 position, he loses 4 points and potentially the connection point right here. And so that's, Daniel could even start surrounding over here and go in for the kill. And so Daniel is going to force. This is a forcing move, guys. This is a forcing move. He's going to force Midi to capture him right there, opening up this spot because he doesn't want to create a true eye. He doesn't want Midi to have any way of creating a true eye. So what Daniel's going to do is most likely Daniel is going to start playing in these positions to try to cap off the formation of that second eye. He's going to do a forcing move right here, forcing that positioning, and then possibly playing at the very end, trying to cut off Midi. And if he can cut off Midi, that is an amazing move. But he has to watch out because there is a forcing move right there. Exactly, there is a forcing move right here. And so Midi, if Midi was wise, Midi would extend out one more space, trying to connect his group of stones. But he's going to go in for the kill. It is a 3-3 Liberty race, and Midi has the first move. So Daniel might actually lose this positioning. But Daniel does also have a forcing move right here, trying to capture this one stone. And so we're going to see what happens. But Daniel's like, you know what? Go ahead. Take that, but I'm going to start cutting in and start capturing these 5 stones. You can take the 3 stones here. I'm going to take the 5 stones here. And so trade. You want to trade? You got something? And so Midi's like, what are you doing? So he's going to force Midi to capture those 3 stones. And while he's doing that, Daniel's just going to extend down. He's just going to extend down. He's going to capture those 5 stones. Right? Yep. So he is going to capture those 5 stones. He's going to prevent that cutting position there at the RA positioning, so that Midi can't do much. And so Daniel, I think this is Daniel's turf. 3 stones for 5 stones. Yes, I lost the overall capture, but I gained in these territory right here. So not only did he gain 10 points, but he also was able to solidify this whole entire territory. Versus Midi, he got this itty bitty little bit right here. So this is Daniel's bit, and that's Midi's itty little bit. And that's something that's extremely hard for a double digits queue like myself to really give up, right? If it was me, I would try to find a way to capture this. I've invested so much time to try to surround that group. I don't want that group to survive. And so and just see, you can see the maturity of both of these players right here, that they're able to step away, they're able to make a trade when necessary. And Daniel is like, I'm going to lose those 3 stones, but in doing so, I'm going to start doing forcing moves while also building a surrounding positioning on those 5 stones. And that is just incredible insight. That is like that really does show. Because in my playthrough, I'm just gonna go straight at it. I'm gonna go gobble and try to take it out. But this is something that we're all trying to learn, or at least myself. If you guys are still having issues with knowing when to step back, please let me know in the comments below. But for me, it's such a hard thing. And so right now, what we do see right here is Midi is trying to build a line. So let's think about this line. Why is he trying to build the line? And this is a good strategy to always have while you're performing your game. And a lot of you guys who are SDKs or Dawn level players will agree with me, because you guys are the ones that are telling me this advice. But the idea is, what is the opponent trying to do, right? If you're in your opponent's shoe right now, I'm Daniel. If I'm in Midi's shoe, why is this wall such a big thing for Midi? Why is that? Well, first of all, the way I can see is, as he's building that wall, he's separating my groups from each other. And I can see that these groups of 5 stones are in a very weak positioning. It's not a strong positioning. If anything, I might get surrounded. And as I'm talking, as I'm commentating on this game, you can see that the surround is already happening. So right here, these 5 stones are in deep trouble. But Daniel was able to find a way to successfully defend the overall surround by putting his opponent in a double Atari. Now, yes, granted, Daniel is in an Atari himself, but if Midi was to capture that Atari, Daniel would have been able to escape by capturing this Atari and then escape with his overall group. So Daniel right now is in the mode for survival. And as MIDI is playing in this region right here, notice that Daniel's group is also starting to do a surround. So the question is, does Daniel sacrifice this, or does Daniel extend, allowing MIDI to extend? And most likely MIDI is going to extend outwards, just one more space. But MIDI also has to be careful, because there is also another surround right here on the group of 5 stones. And so the back and forth. And so either you save your 4 stones or you're going to save your 5 stones. Right now, I'm surrounding you. I'm going to extend upwards or extend outwards one more time. And then I'm going to surround one of those sides. And that's the benefit of Daniel's positions right now. And MIDI knows that these groups of 5 stones are worth a little bit more than the 4 stones right here. If anything, the 4 stones has a better chance of escaping, because it does have another 3 stones right here to reinforce. And so this Knight's move away is a move to hopefully, escape with. This is a running move. Now, granted, Knight's move are generally used only for surrounding, but they can be used for escaping as long as you have enough wiggle room from your opponent to get away. And so what we see right here is MIDI is trying to create more extension, more liberties, and potentially create eye shape right here on the edges of the map to protect those groups of 6 or 7 stones. And so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this huge line, and Daniel's like, you know what? Have the huge line. By all means, take the line, because what do you gain by taking this line? Yes, you're able to survive, you're able to live, yes, but you gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in that. Versus me, I gained the potential of this region right here, just going outwards. And so 6 points for the overall potential of the map. I think that is a very darn good trade. Your opponent is on the second line. Can't do anything more. He's getting 1 territory per stone that he places down, versus us for like 7 or 8 stones, we might be able to get 10 points. I think that's a fair trade. We get like 1.1, 1.25 or 1.3 stones points per stone kind of thing. And so that, I think, is an overall good trade, at least in Daniel's position. And so what we see right here is MIDI is scratching his head. MIDI is like, you know what, I don't know what to do. Yes. So let's just take a look at the territorial count. So if we're in the middle of the game right here, if we're looking at the overall map, who's in the lead? And so hopefully I don't screw this up, because the last video I screwed this up. But who's in the lead? And so we're gonna see right here. Let's see. MIDI has his overall potential corner. He doesn't have the corner yet, but that's a potential. He does have this region. So this region is pretty much his, and that's it. Okay, so Daniel's positioning, I think Daniel does have this overall central piece right here. 2 eyes is going to form. Daniel does have these 5 stones right here. It's completely surrounded. Daniel may potentially have this little bit of territory right here starting to. Daniel has a little bit of this. So right now, Daniel is in a very good positioning. All he has to do from now on is to make sure his groups doesn't die, and to make sure that he's just defending. He doesn't need to go anymore. He just makes sure that, MIDI doesn't gain the central positioning right here. But overall, it is a very good good outcome so far. And so we're just gonna see what's gonna happen in the next couple moves right here. We are at move 100 currently, and I believe there's around 200 moves. So we're halfway through the game. And it is currently 18 minutes into the recording. So I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this casting, because there's so many insights in here. And if you guys are a single digits queue or a Dawn level player or a ranking higher than 13K, please tell me what you see in this match. What is something that you see help us learn more and become better at this game? Because I honestly fell in love with the game of Go. If you guys are brand new here, I'm going to retell my story, but I honestly fell in love with the game of Go. Just the complexity as well as the simplicity of the game. And, as you begin to play more Go, you don't see them as black and white stones. You actually see them more as a fluid thing. It's more of a living beast, so to speak. And so right here, Daniel actually really did create 2 eyes right here. That's a beautiful positioning right here. Maybe those are a good 2 eyes right there. This is still somewhat of a false eye if he gets surrounded right here, but you know, 2 eyes so far. Yeah, that's actually a really, really nice move. I like that. And so right here, what we see Daniel doing is starting to take the influence in the center of the region. And so, but just a couple of announcements. I don't know if I said this earlier in the cast. I can't remember. This is like take 3 or 4 of me redoing the cast within the first 5 minutes at least. So I do apologize for not having games up as frequently as I used to. One of the big reasons is that as I'm casting certain games, it becomes a little mundane. So I've said this in the past, it does become a little bit mundane, and I just feel like if I keep casting mundane games, it's gonna get repetitive over a while, and I want to keep things really exciting, really, really engaging, really interesting, because when a player plays to standard, it really, it's just a standard game. You've seen standard games before, so I want to really be out of the box with a lot of these playthroughs. And so and that's the whole fun of the game, is to invent or refine new playstyles and see what can work in today's meta kind of thing. And so that's really what I'm looking for. But another big factor of the reason why I haven't been posting as frequently is because I'm actually losing my voice. I'm constantly doing casting of the games. I'm also teaching a lot. I am an instructor at a couple of universities, so my voice goes out quite often throughout the week. And so I'm constantly lecturing and also casting and also streaming, and so I'm using my voice quite frequently at a very engaging, like high frequency, high like caffeinated level. So because of that, my voice has been a little raspy the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys can actually hear my raspiness in my voice right now. It's now recovered because I did take a break from casting, but it is still somewhat sore, so I do have to watch that. I am doing a lot of acting practices and voice acting practices, so I just wanted to give you guys the heads up on why I haven't been able to post as frequently as I want to. I am training my voice to get a little bit more stamina, so that I could do these. But what we have right here, so going back to the game, so that's just a quick announcement. I usually don't want to do announcements too often anymore, but that was a quick announcement as to why the games hasn't been as frequent. And so I do apologize for that, but my voice is going out and I can't keep it up. My health, I'm dying here, guys. Anyways, so what we see right here is we see a nice surround right here, a nice surround on Daniel's pieces right here. MIDI does not want Daniel to gain any more territory. If anything, Daniel is in a predicament. I mean, if Daniel can, I would love to see Daniel start cutting off MIDI in any way, shape, or form, and that might be for a potential move later. Maybe do a disconnecting move of this stone right here, forcing MIDI to take this territory while Daniel takes this territory. That would be a really, really nice move. And so, and that's something that Daniel has shared with me, at least into his insight on the games, is that he doesn't want to directly go after the group that he wants to protect at the time being. So he's gonna play around a little bit. He's gonna do a little dance, a little I don't know what you call it, just a little dance around, and start harassing the other groups of stone to divert the attention away. This is what we call a bluff. Or at least that's what I call bluff. So he's trying to bluff his opponent. Not really, but yeah. He's trying to bluff his opponent so that the opponent is so focused on this region, for instance, or this middle region, for instance, that as Daniel starts expanding out and really trying to show the opponent that he's gaining middle territory, he's actually slowly going to creep his way over here and start attacking this to save these 6 stones. Because that's 12 points. That's a lot of points that Daniel is going to be losing. And if Daniel loses those 12 points, that could be the difference between a good game versus a winning game versus a losing game. So, oops, sorry, my speaker's going crazy. And so what we see right here is just that happening. And so MIDI better be careful, because this group only has 3 liberties left, and MIDI's not careful. He's going to lose those stones. He's already going to lose these 2 stones right here. If Daniel plays right here, for instance, I think these 2 stones are going to be in somewhat of a pickle. And so, you know, Midi better be careful. He is going to lose those 2 stones. And this is what I mean. Daniel is putting a lot of pressure on the middle group right here, but he's also putting a lot of pressure right here on these 2 stones, as well as to the extension, these 5 stones here. And so if Midi doesn't pay attention carefully, Daniel's going to start creeping up right here and really start surrounding those groups of stones. And so I mean, this is just an amazing playthrough. And this is, you know, a skill set that one requires if you want to be a single digit queue. You got to know when to step back, you got to know where to go, you know, and really don't panic. And that's something that I'm finding in my games right now, is that as I'm playing human players, I panic a lot. I panic because I'm like, oh shoot, what was the variation? I forgot the variation. I got to memorize the variation, yada yada yada. And so that has been a very taxing type of mental state that puts me in adrenaline mode, as well as in stress mode, and et cetera, et cetera. And so that's something that I'm learning how to slowly let go and really just focus on the game itself. And so Daniel is going to go in for that PvP move. He doesn't want Midi to develop those 2 eyes, so he's going to force some eye shape right here. And this does not bode well, because if Daniel's able to cut out one of the legs out of the triplet right here, the eye shape is going to die. And so right here, Midi is going to start going in to attack the dragon shape right here, now that I know that this is a dragon shape, or the T shape right here. And right now, Daniel's group is in somewhat of a trouble, because they are kind of separated. And so right here, Midi is going to try to build an eye shape inside right here, trying to develop that 1 eye. And if he can develop that 1 eye, then that is going to be a really good thing. So 1 eye and potentially 2 eye, but Daniel took that 2nd eye right there. So he's going to really force Daniel or force Midi to start, you know, playing. And, you know, Daniel could easily extend right here, honestly, and capture this. I don't know why Midi decided to play there. That was I think that was a forcing move to try to take Sensei away from Daniel. But, you know, now Daniel can fully surround this piece. And yeah, no. There's 1, 2, 3 liberties. Yeah, you can connect the 2, but if Daniel comes in and really disconnects you, I think you're pretty much done for. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? And so he's going for the cut. Daniel can easily extend out, defending his positioning. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Midi's trying to do. Midi is trying to save himself. He's trying to go for the overall disconnect of these 4 stones right here, but Daniel did catch that in time. Playing in this positioning, now Midi is going to jump around. So I think what Midi is trying to do right here is trying to divert Daniel's attention away, because, you know, we humans, we make a lot of errors. We don't remember what's being attacked and what's not. So the more that you're able to put a lot of threat on the opposing player, the more that you're diverting their attention away. And, you know, the more attention you divert away, the more chances of error being done by the human players. And so this is the huge difference between AI versus human, is that we make errors because we get tired. We don't know what to keep track of. And if we don't know what to keep track of, we may lose. And for the AI, there's like, you know, we're computer, we're programmed. We don't get tired. We are inevitable, as Agent Smith will say. It is inevitable. So anyways, that's a little Matrix trivia for you guys. And so Daniel is going to come in and try to disconnect. Ooh, I like this. The formation of a secondary eye. That's pretty nice. It's not a full eye, because you can still get surrounded overall, especially if Midi does come in and try to surround Daniel right here. This group of 4 stones is going to pose an issue. And so Midi is most likely going to connect right here. No, Midi is going to connect on the other end. Interesting. Very interesting. And so Daniel is most likely going to, you know, disconnect. He has to start connecting his groups right now because this group is in overall danger and he has to be very careful. Okay, this is the area where you have to be careful because right now Midi is going to do some forcing moves, and if Daniel's not careful, he has one place of losing those stones or another place of losing this whole entire chain. And so Midi is going to start doing a surround. He's going to start playing right here, right? He's going to start disconnecting Daniel from extending out in any way possible. Daniel now is in trouble. He has to find a way to connect his stone. Maybe he'll do an extension first. Midi's going to cap and then forcing Daniel to extend down here. But Daniel just went straight in for the extension. He's like, you know what? I see what you're doing. I got to protect myself. And so the extension is found. And so now Midi is going to go in for more of a surround. So Daniel right now is in trouble. His whole entire dragon group right here, whatever group this is going to be in a huge predicament. And now the thing is, Daniel has 0 eyes. There are no eyes right now. There's no eye shape. There is no eye shape right here. And if Midi finds a way to capture Daniel, to really surround and reduce those eye shape, Daniel will lose this game. There's no way that Daniel can come back. If Midi, you know, finds a way to capture this whole entire group. What is this? How many points is this? And Midi's able to capture, that's what, 50 points? That is a game-breaking move right there. I'm dying. You guys can see my voice is going out. I'm so sorry for coughing in that. But oh my gosh. So Daniel is in a huge trouble. But right now, Daniel does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liberties. Daniel has 6 liberties. So if Midi is able to be ahead in liberties, then Daniel will lose. And so right here, this group right here has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties. This group right here has 4 liberties. So if Daniel is able to reduce, potentially capture these groups right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties as well. Oh man, I don't think Daniel's going to lose, because right here Daniel is going to capture these groups, like the 5 stones that we said earlier that was Daniel's. Daniel was like, you know what? You're going to try to capture this whole entire group. I am going to capture your group. And when I capture your group, I have eye shape. I have 2 eyes. There's nothing you can do about it. And so, oh my gosh, Midi, you audacious, you're so audacious. Look at you. And so Midi was trying to distract Daniel further by extending out right here. It's like, you know what, Daniel, if you're going to save your group, I'm going to extend and I'm going to take more potential away from you. I'm going to extend. And Daniel's like, you know what? You could try to distract me, man. Go ahead, distract me. I know that this is a lot of space, but it's going to take you a while to surround. So while you do that, I'm going to play 1 or 2 more moves to ensure my survival for my overall group up here and here. And so do whatever it is you need to do, man. I got this. And so what we see is the diagonal V forming right here. We see the arrow. We see the overall surround. And it would not surprise me if Midi decided to play right here or right here. One of those positioning to surround Daniel's group. But no, he decides not to. Decides to connect. And I think that... I don't know why. He had so many opportunities, and Midi is probably going to surround right here or do an extension downwards. But man, if Midi is able to play right here, he can get some points out of that. I mean, that's a really good, decent amount of points that Midi can overall capture. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I would like to see Midi play right here, at least in these positioning right here, just to go for the overall surround. Midi does know that there could be a potential surround on his group of 5 stones and 1 stones right there. So he's going to connect, trying to reinforce in this barrier back here. Oh my gosh, this game. Oh man. I don't know, but Daniel sees that the surround is happening, so Daniel decides to play in that spot and taking away Midi's advantage of the overall surround. And so Midi, Daniel might lose the capture on these 3. Like I said, Midi knows how to play too. He's a 3Q player as well. He probably played 20,000 games or so like Daniel has. And what we see right here is just the back and forth, the tackle, the to and fro, the diversion, the bluffs. going on. And like I said, Daniel, is waiting for that moment to save his group of 6 stones up here. And so you see Daniel was slowly creeping up, but in the disguise of attacking this group right here, as well as this group. So they're slowly creeping up. And Midi knows that this might be a potential threat. And Daniel, if he really wanted to, he can just go in for the kill right here on these 2 stones, either forcing the move and then complete a disconnection right here for the stones. And that would be amazing if Daniel's able to save these groups of 5 stones. And he's slowly creeping, guys. He's slowly creeping up. And look, he's going in for the kill. He's going in for the save, guys. He's gonna go in for the save in the disguise that, hey, I'm trying to make eye shape right here. That's my reasoning to play there, not to save these guys are already dead. I'm trying to make eye shape. And so Daniel is gonna go in, and Daniel is like, you know what, if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna completely surround you. We're gonna trade territory. You're gonna get those 6 stones, I'm gonna get these 2 plus 4, that's 6. That's an even trade, and I'm 6.5 points ahead. And so Daniel is going to slowly go in. It would not surprise me if Daniel played right here on the F14 positioning, forcing the connection points right here, or the disconnection points right there. That would be an amazing play if Daniel is able to do that. But Daniel is like, okay, you know what? I'm not too focused on that. I don't see it. No, I don't see it. I'm gonna divert your attention away some more and start going around right here and really start building that surround in the bottom corner, because that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. And so, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm losing my voice still. My voice is going, guys, and you guys can see I'm slowly becoming more raspy, and my volume is going down. And so what we do see right here is the extension downwards. We do see the Hane approach right here on these 2 stones. But Midi is going to start forcing some moves, and so I don't know about this. We'll see. Daniel is going in, and we're getting towards the end game, guys, right now. This is mid end game right here. And so Daniel's gonna slowly move, and he's gonna start trying to defend it. He's gonna surround. Well, come on, you're gonna surround. You're gonna surround right there. The D7 positioning. Yeah, it's going to force that threat on those stones. He's going to force the move and then do a complete surround right here, killing those 4 stones. And I think that is going to be game, set, and match. I don't think there's anything that Midi can do right now to save his positioning. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what's the overall score at the end of the match. And so right now Daniel is going in for the 4 kill. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna do that little, that little surround, this 4 kill and this 4 kill. You can take those 6 stones if you want to. I got 8, now I got 9. Daniel can just come in here and start like cutting everything off. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. So anyways, Daniel is gonna go in for the kill. He's just like had it. He's like, you know what, you can try to build eye shape right there, as long as I reduce your eye shape and as long as you don't extend upwards this way, trying to connect your two groups together, we are good. And with that, Midi has resigned from this game. And so let's take a territorial count. Let's see. I want to estimate. This is me practicing my skill, and you guys can practice your skills too. Because when you're playing a live game, there is no AI to help you calculate your points. So you really have to eyeball it, or really have to find a very strategic way to count. And so that's hence why I generally don't like to use the AI during my games. But let's see. So excuse me. And so right here, I want to say this is Midi's territory. So Midi's going to be the one in white. That's Midi's territory. This is definitely Midi's territory right here. Midi's territory is down here. There is no territory for Midi up here. Maybe these little bit of stones right here is guaranteed points. And these 2 stones might be Midi's points up there. All right. And so let's look at Daniel's positioning. So Daniel's positioning right here. Is Daniel has this whole positioning right here. Daniel potentially has this whole center right here because he does surround this overall group. The eye shape right here, he might even have this whole group up here. I don't see the 2 eyes right there. He does have this overall positioning right here. He does have these 4 stones over here plus the territory over here. And so just eyeballing the potential, I want to say Daniel is ahead by quite a margin. I think maybe 30-40 points. I could be wrong. But let's calculate. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna estimate the score. So I'm guesstimating around 30-ish points. I actually don't know how much he won by. OGS didn't tell me when I uploaded this game into OGS. So let's see, what is the estimated score? And so Daniel, with a complete annihilation of his opponent, this is amazing. He has successfully won by 43 points. So my estimation was a little off. It was 10 points off, but it was like, no, I think it's really high. It's like 30-ish points or so. But you can see just Daniel's influence, and you can see I'm circling. Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, you know, there was more potential over here for MIDI to protect those stones, but essentially what I circled was a good enough. I guess there was shape for 2 eyes in this positioning right here, so I was a little off with that. But overall, I think my eyeballing is getting a lot better. So you guys, there you have it. That was Daniel ML01's advancement game. So he went from a 3Q on PandaNet to a 2Q on PandaNet. So, and this was such an amazing game. That surround strategy, that just approachment, and just the back and forth, the tug of war between, you know, who can capture whose group, the separation of the groups. Oh my gosh, this was an exciting game, and I love this game. And so guys, if you like the content, please don't forget to comment down below, give me a like, share the video, and I want to thank you guys, the current subscribers or the new subscribers lately. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and helping me build this channel up, and helping me try to build just spreading the love of Go more so on YouTube. I know that YouTube algorithm is just a pain in the butt, and we wish we could spread the popularity of Go just a bit faster. But hey, slow and steady ruins the race, and we're gonna try to build an entertaining channel here on this YouTube channel, and hopefully my casting has been getting better for you guys. And I want to thank you guys for sending me the Joseki library. I believe it was Andy. I can't remember your names, guys. I'm sorry, but I know one of you guys sent me a Joseki library earlier, so thank you so much for sending that to me. That's gonna help me with my games, and as well as commenting on the videos. You guys in the past couple of days, you have been commenting on the videos, so thank you again so much for just being engaged with me, and really trying to educate everyone. You know, all the new players that I'm sending to watch this channel, they're learning a lot, and they're really enjoying your guys' input. So thank you guys so much. It really does help me out, and it helps them out. Even that's more important. It helps them out, the new players. And so and some of them, I know this is a long outro, but I just want to let you know, some of them are giving me feedback on their games outside. They downloaded the, you know, Crazy Stone apps. They're on OGS, and they're actually telling me that, you know, just a little bit of, you know, just foresight from advanced players, as well as Daniel's teaching, as well as this channel is helping them improve their game. So, and they're super excited to tell me when they beat the AI, or when they beat another player at the same rank. So I want to thank you guys so much again, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the Go commentary.